I'll start. I'm Jiang. I came from China. And the next is Japanese greeting. Ohayo gozaimasu. Go. 今日からごと申します。よろしくお願いします。じゃあ、始めます。First, I want to find a person, the Mr. Yoshikawa Tsuyoshi. Tsuyoshi-san. 聞いたのか? Oh, it's very. Yeah, he wrote a very famous article about Sinatra. Have you read that? In English, maybe welcome to the world of Sinatra 1.0. I don't know whether it has been translated. We will start with the sample code. You must have seen this code because Sinatra has come to be a buzzword recently. And when I show people this code the last year's Friday, about 1.5 years ago, they know it's cool, but they want me to show the real example of Sinatra. And as this year the Sinatra 1.0 is released, they also want me to show the example, whether it still be cool and the speed is much faster than reels. They are most concerning with their business, the business logic. So this year I found a way to combine the Sinatra and the real world business, but the systems type is very. You must accept the philosophy of it, the minimal effort. And I will describe what system the Sinatra is good at, and I like it very much. Yeah, it's unfair that when people talk about reels, it's a group of 5. It has many aspects of libraries in reels. But in Sinatra, we only have 1. So we will find friends for Sinatra to fight with reels. Yeah, so the answer, what is ready? The answer I give you is friends. And Sinatra is designed to need friends, and it's very easy to find the friends help in Sinatra. First is there's no preset. That means no bias to every friend, just the friends most suitable. And next, the Sinatra is pure Ruby, no too much black magic under it. And third is Sinatra is rack lover. You know, rack is acting a more and more important role in the web development world. So let's fight with our friends, just like these guys. And before I will introduce how to deal with some common tasks with Sinatra, I must tell you, you must get familiar with rack, because rack is your best friend when you are using Sinatra. Because Sinatra is just a thin layer over rack. And when you encounter some problem, the best way is just solve it with rack. If you are using Sinatra, you have used these middlewares. The first is session. And you can find more rack middlewares in this project. I select some of them. They are very helpful, and you can guess what they are for from the name. And this is very helpful. It provides a layer of HTTP cache. I want to talk about the rack URL map a little more, because it is a good way to use combine multiple Sinatra applications with it. You can separate your applications by paths. When the start, if you have two main purposes, one is blocks and the other is URL shorter, just split it with paths or separate by the host. The request to different hosts will go to different Sinatra application. And the directory structure, you can structure it in a Rails way, put all the controller into one directory and separate view directories. Or you can just keep the individual structure. And the hardest part here is the bottom, the main config.ru. You may need some refactoring to keep the individual parts can run as a separate part, and the whole application can also write in the correct way. Anyway, rack is very awesome. So I will introduce you how to deal with these common tasks with Sinatra. The first, I think most websites will need these three tasks, at least four tasks. So I list here. First is CRUD and unit test. In the example of CRUD, we need these three friends. The first is shotgun. And I think they are sharing the same philosophy of Sinatra, the minimal effort. I describe them as the minimal effort of reloading source, the first one. And Haml is for writing HTML. And CQ is for you to access database. Some code. This one, the migration in CQ is not necessary because the way you access the database with CQ is very simple. But this is just a demonstration. If you like migrate, CQ also made it very simple. And you see the file name, the number before it. It is milliseconds of Unix. The milliseconds from 1970, I think. And you can create the file just with shell. There's no rake file needed. You just use shell and I don't know how to call this magic. So you will create a file containing the data time information with it. And to run migration is also very easy. No rake needed, just with the CQ command line. And rollback, it's a pity that no similar command like rake db rollback, just as that easy. You must assign the version of it. You must assign a parameter of version. And here is for simple, I just assign to 0. If you want to roll back to a datetime, you must write it by yourself. That is a little pity that this part is not the minimal effort. And the code of application is very simple. So it's config.ru. I think you are very familiar with it. All the rack applications now need this file. When you run it, it's just a development mode. Sorry, I didn't comment it. If you run it with shotgun, you just leave it there and edit your code, reload your navigator, you will see the changes, just as the Rails do. And as we come to the unit test of Sinatra middleware, it's also very simple. You can also use the WebRed and Cucumber. I will show you the way of minimal effort with the rack mock request and any test framework you like. You can you read the code clearly? You can get an object for test just with the first 2 lines. The third one is to tell you what's the type of it. And the code is just a pseudocode. It's in the style of Shooter and RSpec. It's not runnable. So with 3 lines, you can get an application, and you can also test it with just the same line number. Now we will go to authentication. This is the hardest part in Sinatra now. There's no mature test authentication framework for it. Recently comes a shining star called Warden. It's just a rack middleware, and it's very helpful. Yeah. The Warden also shares some philosophy with Sinatra. First is no presetted stretches. It uses stretchy pattern for you. So if you want another way of authentication, just add another stretchy. And adding the new one is very simple. Yeah, it's code 4 lines, or maybe 6 we'll add outside. The use is just similar as using a rack middleware. The code I don't feel good at that default stretches. I think they should make it shorter. And another thing, I don't think it is the most minimal effort. I think it needs it has room to improve. It's because when I add 1 stretches, the new stretchy is not added to the default stretches. I must assign it. So it's against the rule of do not repeat yourself. I'm repeating myself with it. And there are 2 gems written by others, not the author of Warden, to provide the help of OpenID and all else. It's a valuable, most valuable part of Warden, because OpenID and all else, these 2 types of authentication is gaining more popular, and writing the support to them is very hard. So you need help from other gems. And this is not very near, it's not about Sinatra. I just show you how the server side will look like. Yeah, just skip this. Yeah, there's no response to under the Sinatra. The benefit of response to is it will share the just read. Yes, using the same code for the different routes. Now it has come to be a convention. The first is in the routes you assign with the dot format. The next is pass a parameter called format. If you are very familiar with the routes of Sinatra, you can deal it with the regular expression routes. So a little hard for the beginners. But if you know this way, it will save your code. So we have end the common tasks. At the end, I want to add 2 more web services. They are not Ruby gems. Because I think if we can find help from outside, not only Ruby gems, you can also get help from Java or any other languages or projects. If it can save your time, it can empower your system. And Heroku, I call it the minimal effort to deploy application. Have you used it? Oh, cool. Yes. You just deploy with a push. The upper output is the output of Git. And the lower is output of Heroku. When I told your site is deployed to Heroku, the deployment is done. It's just like a magic. You haven't set up a system, or if you buy a VPS, you will have to set up a Ruby environment or install some Ruby gems. And Heroku saves your time. You don't have to install anything. Just use the service of it. And yeah, people around me just don't agree with the price. But if we can find a cheaper service just like it, it's very helpful. Or because Sinatra consumes very little resources against Rails, I think it may be financial using Heroku. You may try. I haven't tried to push. I haven't do the real business with Heroku. It's a pity. And discuss. It's very common to see this in a blog, and I call it a minimal effort of common system. It's a very typical use. You just add the commenting system with an external script. This page I show you is just to demonstrate it is an external script. And when the external script is loaded, it just looks like a native comment system. People won't feel that they are comment on the other website, not on your website. And so I want the service like discuss will come in more and more. So I don't have to write. If I want to do some function, I just find, oh yes, I just add one external JavaScript and get that function. So I think this is the vision of Sinatra application. Light but powerful. Rails comes with this vision. If you can remember when Rails came, it saves your code against Java. And it's powerful because that time Java is not good at Web 2.0. And any terms you can describe that, the boom of web. And if your system is keeping light and powerful, you can stay focused on your own business. So if you are using Rails and the active record is not convenient, and you find yourself is fighting against the process of database, why don't you change to another framework and you can stay focused on your own business? Don't waste time on fighting with this and that and don't having no relationship with your own business. And to achieve that goal, I will end very quickly. To achieve that goal, you must make friends actively. You must find more and more friends to empower your system and save your time. Yeah, that's very good words about it. Many hands make light work. So finding more friends when you are doing Sinatra. Yeah, thank you very much. I will thanks the Mr. Masayuki Takahashi and Eto Katagiri for translating my presentation. I think that makes my slide more understandable by Japanese people. Any questions?
Hello. Not so much a question, but just a comment. I basically use Rails for a lot of stuff, but I find Sinatra is just perfect for mocking web services because it's really simple. To write a service that does just the functionality you need and that is very clear to understand for testing. But anyway. Just comment.
So what's your question?
Sorry.
You just say your idea. Is that? Yeah. Yeah. I think the main purpose is just your own business. Use any tools you want. Yeah. Yeah. Please.
I'm curious what you think about frameworks that integrate with Sinatra. So, for instance, Pancake or Pedrino, which there seems to be an effort to try and build layers on top of Sinatra.
I have tried Pedrino, but you can try it by yourself if you feel it will help you to do your business logic. I don't like it because if the route is not found, the error is in Sinatra, not in Pedrino. So people must first learn Sinatra, then Pedrino. I haven't used it very much.
All right, I have another question.
Yeah.
So out of curiosity, what do you think the state of security with Sinatra is? I know that you mentioned the OAuth library in particular with authorization, but I've heard YCats in particular mention that Rails security features are better than Sinatra's since Sinatra's is so bare-boned.
Just the security of the tool framework?
Yeah. Obviously, the authentication libraries exist specifically to try and restrict aspects of your application, but I'm curious about the stack in general. And what happens when you have, you've mentioned that you basically have to integrate a whole bunch of different libraries, and isn't there always the possibility that you won't integrate them properly, as opposed to something like Rails where you have the full stack? That's
I haven't mentioned the shortcoming of using the external service like the Discus. Yeah, it's only, you can only hope that the server of Discus won't get down. And the commenting system is not your key feature. if you must rely on the, I don't know how, the stability of the external website.
Any others?
Okay. 柳田と申します。ウェブのフレームワークというと、やっぱりどうしても Rails と比べられると思うんですけれども、Rails と比べて、例えばシナトラが、そうですね、例えばシナトラの方がこういうのには向いてるとか、逆にあんまりこういうのには向いてないから、まあ、Rails の方がいいねとかいう、まあ、向き不向きみたいなのがあったら、ちょっと教えていただきたいなと思います。
The question was like, what type of application is good for Sinatra, and what type of question is not good for Sinatra?
Yeah, the system, the created by Sinatra, I think is most. Yeah, I like the system with less code, and with Rails you can also write less code, but you will generate more. And also Rails is doing much more. Yeah, I forgot to mention, I love the philosophy of jQuery, write less and do more. I think it's maybe the complementary to this light and powerful.
As a framework, how well does Sinatra go for writing large or complicated applications? I've only really looked at it in terms of fairly simple applications.
Yes, I just want to. The only way I know is to split it with the rack URL mapper. I only know this way. You just separated your. If it's a complicated application, and you just separate it into many small Sinatra and organize it in that way.
One last question. Okay. Well, thank you, Jiang.
Thank you very much.
The next speaker is Ted Han, as a video user, data mapper.